The Second World War did not just change borders and governments. It, rewrote the rules of aviation forever. In the rush to dominate the skies, nations were forced to abandon tradition, improvise at speed, and sometimes fuse ideas, factories, and entire aircraft lineages. Some of the most important WWII aircraft were not born cleanly from a drawing board. They were mergers of earlier designs, emergency adaptations, or hybrids created when survival mattered more than elegance. If you've ever wondered why so many WWII aircraft look strangely transitional, well, this is why. Why wartime pressure forced aircraft designs to merge rather than start fresh. Before the war, aircraft development moved cautiously. New designs took years. During WWII, there was just no time. Factories were already producing airframes, engines, and parts, and changing everything meant shutting down production at the worst possible moment. Instead of starting over, engineers merged proven components with new ideas. Wings from one aircraft were paired with fuselages from another. Engines designed for bombers were adapted to fighters. In some cases, entire companies were merged under government control, forcing design philosophies to blend whether engineers liked it or not. This approach saved time, materials, and lives. It also produced some of the most influential aircraft of the 20th century. How the British Mosquito became a merger of civilian thinking and military necessity. The de Havilland Mosquito is often called the wooden wonder, but what made it truly revolutionary was how it merged civilian aircraft philosophy with combat roles. Its design borrowed heavily from fast, lightweight pre-war civilian planes. Instead of armor and heavy defensive guns, it relied on speed, smooth aerodynamics, and minimal weight. Wood construction was not a nostalgic choice. Britain, needed aluminum for fighters and bombers already in production. By merging furniture-making techniques with aircraft engineering, de Havilland bypassed material shortages and created a bomber, night fighter, reconnaissance aircraft, and pathfinder all from one adaptable platform. The Mosquito proved that merging civilian efficiency with military needs could, honestly, outperform brute force design. How the German Messerschmitt Bf 110 evolved into multiple merged roles. The Bf 110 began as a long-range heavy fighter, but combat exposed its weaknesses quickly. Rather than scrap the airframe, German engineers merged new roles into it. Radar systems were added, turning it into one of the Luftwaffe's most effective night fighters. Its structure was reinforced to carry heavier weapons, allowing it to hunt Allied bombers after dark. This was not a new aircraft. It was the same platform repeatedly merged with new technologies as battlefield realities shifted. The lesson here is adaptability. World War II aviation rewarded airframes that could absorb change rather than resist it. In the United States, mergers were often industrial rather than aerodynamic. Companies like North American Aviation and Consolidated Vultee absorbed smaller manufacturers, inherited unfinished designs, and combined engineering teams overnight. The P-51 Mustang itself benefited from this environment. While it wasn't a literal merge of two aircraft, it became a hybrid of British aerodynamic theory and American production power once the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine replaced the original Allison. That engine swap transformed the Mustang from a mediocre fighter into one of the war's most dominant escorts. It was a merger of airframe and engine philosophies forced by wartime collaboration. Soviet aircraft like the Il-2 Sturmovik were built around a merged concept. The airframe and armor were essentially one structure. Instead of adding protection later, designers integrated it from the start. This made repairs easier and production faster, even in factories relocated east under extreme conditions. The Il-2 evolved continuously, merging improved armament crew protection and structural changes without halting production. This approach allowed the Soviet Union to field enormous numbers of aircraft while refining them in real time. So, What can modern builders and designers still learn from World War II aircraft mergers? The real lesson of those mergers, honestly, isn't just about nostalgia. It's about efficiency under pressure. These designs, they really show how combining existing systems intelligently can actually outperform starting from scratch. You know, modern aviation, emergency engineering, and even civilian manufacturing, they still rely on this principle. When time, resources, and survival are on the line, adaptation really does beat perfection. Studying these aircraft, it teaches you how constraints shape innovation. If you take the time to understand why these mergers worked, you gain real insight into how technology evolves when there's just no margin for failure. So, why do these wartime hybrids still matter today? Well, many post-war jets, transports, and helicopters actually inherited their design logic straight from these World War II hybrids. The whole idea of modular systems, adaptable airframes, rapid upgrades, it all traces back to wartime necessity. These aircraft, they weren't accidents, they were solutions forged under fire. If you look closely, you'll see that modern aerospace still echoes the decisions made by exhausted engineers racing the clock 8 decades ago. If this kind of deep, no-nonsense World War II aviation history is what you come here for, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who cares about real history, and stay tuned for the next chapter in the machines that shaped the modern world.